Well, good morning, church family. Thanks for joining us for another Straight Talk. This has been a really fun way to connect over this time that we've been sheltered in. And today we have a really special guest, somebody who has been a part of our congregation pretty much her whole life. And she has been on an amazing adventure in Italy during this whole time. And so we're looking forward to talking to Norah Blackburn. Norah, thanks for taking time. It is, you just told me, 10 o'clock there in Italy, and you just ate dinner. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in Italy. How in the world did you decide to be on the other side of the world? What led up to this?
Well, I guess it started last year around September. I decided I wanted to do some sort of studying abroad for my junior year, and I didn't really know exactly what that would be. But I ended up going through Rotary Youth Exchange and doing a 10-month exchange in Sicily, Italy. So for the first 8 months of my exchange, I lived with a Spanish family. So I learned Spanish and Italian at the house, and I got to travel a lot with them. And now I'm living with a different host family for the last few months here. But I really just wanted to be able to travel and learn a new language, go to a different school, make new friends, and everything.
Yeah, neat. Well, Catherine and I have gotten updates here and there from your family, and it sounds like it's been a really amazing trip and also a really hard trip these last few months with being sheltered in. But start with giving us some highlights, some of the best parts of being in Italy these last 10 months.
The food is definitely a highlight. I love the food here. For lunch and dinner, we eat pasta. Like, my host mom will make pasta for lunch, and then we'll eat the leftovers for dinner. But the pizza and all the food is really good, which is like a daily thing that I always love to do every day, to wake up and eat pasta. But I've also gotten to tour around Italy with all the other exchange students who are in Italy. So there was about 100 of us. And we went to Florence, Rome, Naples, Milan, all these different places for a week. And that was a really, really fun experience. We just spent a few hours in every city just traveling around and stuff. And I've also, for Christmas, I went to Spain with my host family because they're from Spain. And so I got to experience a whole nother culture for 3 weeks. Their Spanish Christmas and New Year's Eve and all sorts of stuff like that. So those were my favorite parts. I also got to go to France, which was really amazing, to just eat cheese for a whole week. So
that sounds really good. I haven't had lunch yet or breakfast yet, and I'm really hungry. So yeah, that sounds amazing. Well, one of the crazy things that's gone on as you've been in Italy is Italy's made international news for being the hot spot of COVID-19. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to be there, what it's been like to be there during this season, and what your life's been like during this lockdown time.
It's been pretty crazy. So I went 72 days not leaving the house, and I didn't see anyone else. I never walked outside of my fence or anything, just always in the house or out on my porch. And so in Sicily, the island that I live on, it's not that bad, as in the north in Milan and stuff. But there was still maybe, I think at the highest point, there was 50 cases in my city. But I felt safe the whole time. I did switch host families in the middle of it, but it been really crazy to spend 3 months inside and just have all these plans. I was supposed to go to Greece. I was supposed to go to 11 different countries in Europe, all these different things. And then all of a sudden, I'm just stuck inside for 3 months and can't even go outside to take a walk. It's been crazy.
You've been hearing about sheltering in Buena Vista. Tell us the difference between sheltering in Buena Vista and what it's like to shelter in Italy.
It doesn't compare. They have, so every hour or so, a policeman would drive by your house. Like they would have this announcement playing on repeat saying like, you can't leave your house. Like it's against the law to leave your house. And so 24 hours they have policemen like controlling all the streets. And if you're outside without like the correct paperwork to be out, like going to the grocery store or for medical reasons, like you can get fined up to $5,000, I think. So to me, it was so much more different because there was really no option of like, I also like live in a bigger city, so there's no, oh, I can just go hike in the mountains. There's nothing to do, which I would have much rather done the quarantine and all of that, being able to hike in the mountains and go outside at least.
Yeah, it it just sounds like being out of your house or going any place is not even an option. It wasn't even a choice for where you were. How did
We had groceries delivered to our house.
Okay, I was going to ask you how you got food.
It's been crazy.
So they just come by each day, and do you give those orders to somebody and then they bring you your food and you pay for it? Is that the way it works?
Yeah, sometimes like they'll come by or you can call the grocery store. We were at my house, we had like a grocery store across the street, which was really convenient because they were really close. So if we forgot something, we could just quickly have them bring it over. And most people in most houses in Italy are apartments, but I was fortunate enough to be in a house, so we had a yard, and I had like a soccer goal and badminton, so I could like be active and not just sit in my room all day.
But some people in apartments, you saw videos and things, they don't even have
I can't imagine.
don't even have a way to get outside. It
Yeah.
sounded crazy. A lot of your classmates, when all this started to happen and international flights started to shut down, came back, and you and your parents made the decision to ride this out and to stay. Tell us a little bit about that decision, why you decided to stay, and what's it like to be one of the only Americans that stayed back. How many of there were you?
Yeah, so with my program from my district that I went with, I'm the last exchange student, um, like abroad right now. Everybody else has gone home. Um, so it was a hard decision to make because at the time I really I was scared because I really didn't know what was happening and I just wanted to be with my family, but I'm glad that I stayed because I've been able to see all the people, all the friendships I've made and being able to say goodbye now because I really wasn't wanting to leave in the middle and not have any closure for like this whole life I've built and just leave in the middle. Um, so I'm glad I stayed because also the travel was really dangerous with all the flights getting canceled and just like everything was going so crazy with the traveling. So I'm glad I stayed. But now, um, in the town when I walk around, everybody knows I'm American. Like just by looking at me, they can tell I'm American because I'm the only tourist in the whole city, and they all ask me, "Oh, what are you doing here? Why are you still here? Like, shouldn't you have gone home?"
Wow, what an experience. So tell us what life's like now. You say you're out and seeing people. Are things getting back to normal there in at the island, or what's it like?
They are more normal, and you can go outside now. You can't really there's no big gatherings or parties, but if you go to see a friend, like you can't like it's not as normal, but we have to wear masks and gloves and have to like keep our safe distance when we're around people. Like even when I just go out to see like one friend, and restaurants and stores are open, but there's just you have to wait in a line, and there's mostly like a maximum of 2 or 3 people in each store. I went shopping the other day, but it wasn't that successful because you can't try on clothes or shoes or anything because they're not able to like sanitize them enough for people to try them on. So there's still a lot of rules, and there's still policemen patrolling everywhere because you can still get fined if you don't have a mask on. Um, they can fine you $5,000 if you're out in public without a mask or enter a store and take off your mask. So it's still a lot of rules, but at least I can go outside, and I live about 1 mile away from the beach, so I can ride my bike there. And it's a lot nicer now, even though there's still a lot of fear and a lot of cases in Italy. It's a lot more open.
Wow, that's fascinating. Tell us a little bit about how this experience of being in another country, but then also this whole sheltered in or locked in place has shaped your faith. What are some of the things that you've learned, and what are some of the ways that your faith in Christ has helped you navigate during this time?
For me, this whole time it's just really been a lot of patience and trusting that God knows what's going to happen, and I don't need to worry every day when I'm going to find a plane ticket or how I'm going to get home, and just leaving it up to His plan and knowing that He'll get me home safely has been a daily struggle for me, just to trust that there is a plan and that it's going to work out for the best is what's really been the most challenging thing, I think, during these 3 months.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When you were with a lot of the exchange students, was there a lot of um, different exposures to different religions? Were there many other students that were Christians in your program?
Um, in my program, I met one girl, but she lived in Milan, who was a Christian that I knew about. But I mean, there's 2 other Americans in Sicily, and everybody else we're all from Taiwan. There's people from Taiwan, China, from everywhere in the world. So there there's so many different religions, and just the cultures are so different that we just spend all of our time is just talking about like oh, like you go to this church and what is that like, oh, you're Christian, but since you live in Taiwan, it's just so much different to talk about and learn about everyone's cultures and religions.
Wow, what a neat opportunity to learn about where other people are in the world and their worldviews and their values. What about your host families? Did they have a strong faith of any kind?
So my first host family, the ones from Spain, they are Catholic. They don't go to church. So yeah, I've never with them. They didn't really talk about their faith at all. I think they were just Catholic for Christmas and Easter in that kind of way. My host mom that I'm now living with, she's also Catholic, and she goes to church on Sundays. Well, when they open up, she'll start going again, but she's more active in her faith. But Italy is a dominantly Catholic country, so there's not a lot of Christians here. It's mostly Catholics.
Yeah, well, fascinating. So tell me, as you get home, what are some of the things you're looking forward most to being back in Buena Vista?
I'm excited. I'm excited to drive. I'm not one of the organization's rules is I'm not allowed to drive on exchange. So I'm really excited to have that freedom again. But I'm also excited for the food, just to eat not just eat pasta every day, but all the other food. To eat cereal. They don't have cereal here. So I'm really excited to eat a bowl of cereal. And just to be around the mountains and see my family. There's so much I'm excited to come home for.
Oh, man, I bet. Well, we are all really excited to get you back home and praying that this next plane or the flight that you have scheduled will go through and that you can get back here. And we're all going to be super excited to have you back and hear more stories. And really sounds like this is going to be an experience that shapes how you see life, probably for the rest of your life. You've experienced so much, not only exciting things but also some really big trials and challenges that I know God's going to use in your life. So,
Yes.
well, Norah, thanks for spending time with us, and thanks for giving us a glimpse into what it's like to be in Italy. And hopefully we'll be back to seeing each other at church soon after you get back, at least a little bit. And so we'll be able to connect and hear more about what's going on and some of the great food and experiences you've had. So anyway, have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Well, church, thanks for joining us for the Straight Talk. It's been really great hearing from Norah. She is one of the many students in our church that have just a deep faith and a deep love for people and a deep love for adventure. And so a lot of them have gone through a lot of disappointments and loss as they have had big dreams, whether that's for graduating seniors or people who have been in colleges. And so just want to encourage you to keep all of our students in your prayers and encourage them as you start to see them around. So God bless and have a great rest of your day.